ADAC GT Masters. We are go. The car's found out. He's given the squeeze. Look at this, side by side. Pulling out right in front. And really good close racing. Wonderful stuff. Part 3 of a 4-part Austrian adventure for the ADAC GT Masters. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Styrian Mountains in the glorious sunshine at the Red Bull Ring. It was last weekend. We were about 220 kilometers away from here. We've moved southeast across Austria into the Styrian Mountains for the penultimate round of the ADAC GT Masters 2025 season. Last weekend, it was 2 endurance races. We saw Ben Durr and Guillaume de Oliveira take a win in the first race of the weekend, a first ever win for McLaren. They were only guesting last weekend, so they're not here this weekend, but the winners of race 2 last weekend, Tim Zimmermann and Leighton Fury, propelled themselves well and truly into the championship hunt with a win on the Sunday. It means that they are just 7 points back from Samuel Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus. Leo Pickler and Simon Birch, who started the season off with back-to-back wins, now some 31 points adrift after what was a very difficult weekend for them. It was even more difficult for that man there. Nico Hanske at the Salzburg Ring had a monumental accident on the Thursday, completely destroyed the number 16 car. He had a puncture going in to the 270-kilometer-an-hour corner, and Scherer Sport PHX certainly couldn't do anything with the car. They've gone back to base, got a new car, and come back to Austria, and he's rewarded them for all their hard work by taking a first ever pole position, his first ever pole position in the ADAC GT Masters in the Audi here at the Red Bull Ring. But we're high up in the mountains. We're 677 meters above sea level, and we knew the BMWs were going to be strong. That was proven this morning in qualifying with Sandro Holzem, the former DTM driver, qualifying the BMW, the number 56 Schubert Motorsport BMW on the front row. I would just put a little side note in here. We've just had a DTM race, and we've seen Schubert Motorsport take a 1-2 in the BMW. René Rast and Marco Wittmann taking the top 2 places. So the BMW, we knew was going to be strong here. That has been proven. There's another BMW third in the hands of last week's winner, Leighton Fury. And then it's the championship leader. You're looking at the car there. Another very strong car here at the Red Bull Ring. Samuel Vega at the wheel of the mighty Ford Mustang. We are getting ready for race 9 of a 12-race season, part 2 of a back-to-back weekend, and we're really looking forward to this race getting underway. Lots of stories, lots of things to talk about, but before we do all of that, introducing to you on my left-hand side, the voice of DTM, joining me for GT Masters this weekend. Good afternoon, Chris Hartley.
Afternoon, Brian, and welcome everybody to the Red Bull Ring and the resumption of this fascinating ADAC GT Masters Championship. We've got 109 points still available with the 2 races today, the 2 races to come at Hockenheim in 3 weekends' time, the 3 remaining qualifying sessions, which means essentially almost everybody out there mathematically is still in contention for the championship, which is fairly ridiculous with 4 races to go. So it's about being consistent this season, picking up the odd win, the odd podium if you can. It's super competitive, but I have to say, given, as you described, what happened to Nico Hanke just a week ago, that monumental crash he had, an epic effort to come back like he has and grab this pole position. Can he and his teammate Dennis Budentov now get their first win? I think back to the very wet race that we had at the Lausitz Ring right near the start of the year, when Dennis was flying and desperately trying to catch the Simon Birch, Leo Pickler resumed Porsche, try and get the race win, had a spin and then just couldn't quite do it, but he was epically quick. They finished second in the race, and still looking for their first win. Best of 5th last year in his first season of the championship for Nico Hanke, but a great opportunity to do it. And just to say as well, there have been some BOP changes, quite a lot of them actually, since qualifying, with the BMW being one of the cars that's been hit with extra BOP weight, another 20 kilograms added to it. The Audis likewise heavier, 10 kilograms heavier than they were for qualifying. So that's the top 3 cars. Ford's actually a bit lighter, 5 kilograms lighter. So good news for Salman Vega and Nicholas Callas, who starts on the 4th and 6th positions on the grid respectively. And for Mercedes, they have stayed the same, and for Porsches they're a bit lighter, 10 kilograms lighter. Ferraris losing some boost, and also adding some weight, 20 kilograms onto the Ferraris, and Lamborghinis are a bit lighter, 5 kilograms lighter. So quite a lot of changes, but as you said, we had a win for René Rast just about half an hour ago in his BMW in the DTM. So it's still possible to do a great job here for the Holcomb twins and for Leighton Fury, who starts just behind. Here's the grid, Brian.
Nico Hanke starting on pole position with Sandro Holcomb alongside the Audi. Was looking very strong in DTM earlier on today as well. Leighton Fury, Salman Vega, Championship 1 and 2 on the 2nd row of the grid. On row 3, Alan Valente and Nicholas Callas now fully recovered for HRT in the Mustang. Yanis Fincher has Eduardo Cosseteng for company, another of the mighty BMWs. And then Simon Birch was frustrated at the Salzburg ring. Jonathan Chicotto was looking strong but didn't have the results at the Salzburg ring. Welcoming Senkir Motorsport, Richard Gonda at the wheel and Finn Zulauf alongside. Then it's Jonas Karklees and Alexander Schwarzer in the Pro-Am category. Tim Hooter, local race for him, has Ernst Kirschmeier, another guesting Baron Motorsport this weekend. Gerhard Torreza, we welcome Arc Bratislava. We have actually lost one of the Baron Motorsport team cars. We originally were going to have Philip Baron and Eduardo Bacchi, but they've had to withdraw. But we've still got one of the Baron Motorsport Ferraris on the grid. A great grid here, lots of cars. We're ready for what will be the 3rd sprint race of the season. We've had 6 endurance races. Now we finished the season with 4 sprint races. The cars given the instruction to grid up. It's going to be a 60-minute race plus 1 lap with a mandatory pit stop and driver change. And FAC Autotech already peeling off into the pit. So the leaders in the Pro Championship with Alexander Schwarzer at the wheel peeling off into the pits. Everybody else lined up in nice single file, getting ready. Are you ready? Let's go racing at the Red Bull Ring. 5 red lights on, 5 red lights off, and Nico Hanke stepping off that pole position. Sandra Holcomb slotting into 2nd place, but Salman Vega on the outside into turn 1, but Holcomb has it covered off. Everybody running wide. The Finn Zulauf car going very deep into turn 1, but Hanke looking very solid already. But look at this, Salman Vega alongside Sandra Holcomb round turn 2, taken absolutely flat out up the hill towards turn 3. Heavy braking at the top of the hill. Good opportunity to try and make up some places. Cars going wide, going deep into the corner. So everybody makes it around. No, they don't. That's Tim Hooter having a bit of a wild moment coming out of the corner. And I hope he can get that going again. He's kept it out of the fence. But Sandra Holcomb has fended off Salman Vega. But what a great start for Nicholas Callas up into 4th place. So the Mustang looking very strong. Another Mustang going wide. Also the Audi of Alan Valente also going wide, but Jonathan Chicotto also making good progress as well. Everybody just fighting for those positions on the opening lap, but a solid start from Nico Hanke. He's already broken clear. Looks like Tim Hooter has got it going again. We've also got Alexander Schwarzer back on track, so whatever the issue was, he's back onto the race. He's kept it on the lead lap as well.
Yeah, I was watching that as you were watching the start of the race. So the Porsche came in, the FAC Autotech Porsche of Schwarzer, stopped in front of his garage. They looked underneath the front splitter. It looked like they removed something, and he was very quickly on his way again. So I think he picked up a bit of debris or a bit of circuit furniture, but otherwise looked like they were happy with the car, and he was released very quickly. But of course, he's right at the back of the field now, apart from the Tim Hooter car, which has dropped behind him after that spin. Hanke then nearly a second clear at the end of the first lap of the race from Holcomb, Vega and Callas, the 2 Fords, making good progress, and Eduardo Cosseteng in the BMW up to 5th. Leighton Furi, second in the championship. Not a good start for the South African, down to 6th place, but a very long way to go in this race still.
Looking from the perspective of turn 3, Simon Birch was looking so quick last weekend, but was not able to pick up the results that reflected that. But here at the moment, looking pretty vulnerable. He's in 8th place. He's got Finn Zulaf behind him, but there's a lot of battling going on behind Finn Zulaf as well. So we'll keep one eye on that. Simon Birch, Leo Pickler at one point looked like they were going to dominate the championship, but they haven't done. Jonathan Chicotto, another who was so rapid last weekend, but wasn't able to turn it into a finish. Now Leighton Furry with Yanis Fitcher on the outside. This is the 6th place. Furry's already been passed by Eduardo Cosseteng. So BMW past the BMW, and now Furry with Yanis Fitcher. He got alongside him, he's got him covered off at the moment. This is the winner from last Sunday. So remember, he's got an extra 20 kilograms of success ballast on board. Into turn 9 he comes. He's got Fitcher covered off at the moment, but is he going to be vulnerable out on the pit straight? In the background, Simon Birch has fended off Finn Zulaf. Looks like Zulaf has dropped back a little bit from that battle. Up towards turn 1 we come. There's Salman Ovega. The two HRT cars have been known to get into each other in the past, so they need to just avoid making contact, because Nicholas Callas, man on a mission into turn 1, now into turn 2. A corner that's taken flat out. Simon Birch with Gerhard Twereza. That's a driver we saw quite a lot of last year in various teams in the Lamborghini. Great to have him here on the outside into turn 3. Simon Birch has him covered off. This is the home race for Razzoon More Than Racing, and they really want to get more than just 8th place out of this race. At the moment, lots of challenges. Finn Zulaf in 10th place. Make that 11th because Jonathan Chicotto has found a route past. Now Twereza onto the outside of Simon Birch. Meanwhile, Yanis Fitcher had got a nose in front of Leighton Furry as well. So much fighting. The two cars side by side. Furry, though, not able to hold off that Mercedes.
And Twereza gets the position as well, and starting to come back up the ordinary. He's actually 3rd quickest in qualifying, but put down the grid. Excuse me, as we've got Yanis Fitcher once again, absolutely side by side with Leighton Furry. Leighton He's struggling a bit with the extra weight on the car, but the BMW he is making as wide and difficult to overtake as possible. But that's a mega move from the German driver Yanis Fitcher all the way around the outside at turn 9. It's downhill into that corner as well. So all the weight's on the front of the car, all the weight's off the back axle. It's very easy to lose the back end and go wide there. But he kept his foot in and finally makes the position stick as we get a replay of the start of the race. All pretty perfect for the pole sitter. I have to say, he made that run into turn 1 relatively comfortable, didn't he? But behind, a fair bit of jostling going on. It's the two Mustangs that, in terms of the front runners, made the best of the starts and muscled their way up into what is now 3rd place for Ovega, the reigning champion, and 4th place for Nicholas Callas. As ever here at the Red Bull Ring, you do have the option to go wide, and that was the replay of the spin for Tim Hooter coming out of turn 3. Looked like he just got on the gas a bit too keenly, unleashed around about 600 brake horsepower, and the tyres didn't like it.
Well, Tim Hooter, who is a rookie in GT3 racing, the Austrian driver, and I just think getting away with him, these cars, they don't have tyre warmers, so the tyres would have been fairly cold, only one formation lap. There was Jonathan Chicotto getting into Simon Birch, and that might explain why Simon Birch may be struggling for pace a little bit. You saw him actually letting go of the steering wheel briefly there. That was out of turn 10. That would have been a fairly scary moment for Simon Birch, I should think, if anything can scare Simon Birch. Keep an eye on the two HRT cars. Salman Ovega, championship leader, behind Nicholas Callas. Remember, Callas had that e-scooter accident heading into the Nürburgring round and had to sit that weekend out. Came back at the Salzburg ring, has got up to speed. He has concentrated on nothing but getting fit for the last 8 weeks. Now back behind the wheel, has made a mega start in the number 3 car. So he's up into 4th place and would dearly love to steal a few points away from Salman Ovega, who is carrying an extra 5 kilograms of success ballast after the 3rd place at Salzburg ring last time out. Looking back at Jonathan Chicotto from the perspective of Simon Birch.
Yeah, Chicotto's going quickly at the moment. He set an absolute best sector time in the middle of the lap last time around. So the gold and black Mustang thinking about trying to go for it up at turn 3. That didn't happen. Meanwhile, Janis Fichter is having passed one BMW, the orange machine of Leighton Fury, now going for the Filipino driver Eduardo Cosseteng as they headed towards turn 4, and on board with Finn Zulev now, who's just behind that gold and black Mustang of Chicotto, which is at the moment hanging on to 10th place. Fichter has found a gap again. This time he's up the inside on the way into turn 6. The Mercedes is ahead of the BMW. Left-hander coming up at turn 7 as they continue to run downhill, and that's another place gain then for the Mercedes, up now into 5th place.
Yeah, that Mercedes is on rails at the moment, isn't it? Prepared by SR Motorsport by Schnitzerland Racing. There's the points perspective. If the race finished now, it'd be a 14-point gap between Salman Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus, Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman, with Leo Pickler and Simon Birch some 39 points back. After this race, there's only 3 races left, so points starting to run a little bit thin for those further back. Janis Fichter, man on a mission, has already left Eduardo Cosseteng behind, so up into that 5th place. So next up the road for Janis Fichter will be Nicholas Callas. Across the line, it was about 4.1 seconds ahead. We'll keep an eye and see whether he can close that gap. That's what 4.1 seconds looks like from the perspective of turn 3, but Fichter has now broken clear of Cosseteng. Cosseteng is going to have Leighton Fury breathing down his exhaust pipe very soon. You'll see some of the numbers on your graphic marked in green. Those green cars are the Pro-Am drivers. They are a combination of professional and amateur drivers. The blue numbers indicate professional pairings, silver pairings. You might think it's not significant, but it is, because when we get to pit stop time, the minimum pit stop time is going to be shorter for the Pro-Am drivers. The pit window will open 25 minutes into the race and will remain open for 10 minutes and will close again after that. During that pit window, every car will need to come in for a mandatory stop and a driver change. For the silver cars, the cars that are not in the Pro-Am race, the minimum pit stop time is 85 seconds. For the Pro-Am drivers, the minimum pit stop time is 70 seconds, so 15 seconds shorter. So the cars that have the green markings are going to be propelled into the front part of the race when the pit window closes, if all goes to plan. At the moment, Handke has it under control, 2.497 clear of Sandro Holzem.
A bit of bird watching in the background meanwhile. There's 1 or 2 dark clouds behind that tree as well, which is slightly concerning. It's still relatively bright actually over the circuit. So Handke, 2.5 seconds clear in the Audi of the BMW of Holzem, which in turn is about 1.5 seconds clear of the battle between the 2 Fords for the final spot on the podium at the moment, of Vega and Callas. Max Rice to get in for Callas after the pit stop, and he's in the top 5 in the championship as well, Max Rice, so he'll be itching to get going, no doubt. Then it's going to be the Mercedes of Janis Fichter, which is on its own now. Look, as it goes through turn 4, it's pulled right away from the pack of cars just behind, which is being led by those 2 BMWs, the black and white machine of Eduardo Cosseteng, which has got the orange machine of Leighton Fury just behind. So lots of the front runners in the championship not having the best of races at the moment. HUD's going up, Dinosaur or likewise. You've got Gerhard Trezer in the yellow Lamborghini just behind in 8th place, those 2 BMWs, and then Simon Birch in the Porsche and Johnny Chicotto in the Mustang, also in that queue of cars. And that's what it looks like to have Johnny Chicotto breathing down your neck as they run downhill through the right-hander at turn 10. They go through that corner at about 140 kilometres an hour, this corner here, turn 10, and then downhill to the start-finish line, and then a steep climb uphill into the right-hander at turn 1. When they get to the top of the hill at turn 3, that's the heaviest braking zone, and they go all the way down to 60 kilometres an hour from 250 kilometres an hour at that point.
And look at this, sorry to interrupt, the 2 HRT cars. We have seen them coming together on more than one occasion this year. At the moment, Nicholas Callas having a look on the outside of former champion Salman Vega, ducks back to the inside. I don't know how much difference that 5 kilograms of success ballast makes. It must make a bit of difference, otherwise they wouldn't do it. But at the moment, Callas looking to be the quicker of the 2 into turn 4. He has the faster inside line, under braking Vega. Vega really has nothing to defend with. So Callas is through and into a podium position, but now Vega coming back at him in towards turn 5. There will come, but Callas has the inside line. I don't think Vega is going to have the grunt to just go round the outside. Callas might just give him the squeeze as well, but Vega never gives up, but finally has to yield that position. He's into 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, good battle that, but good, clean, fair fighting from both Callas and the maroon Mustang, which got through on Vega. So Vega just had a former champion. Now we'll try and stick with Callas, go with him, see if Callas is a bit quicker. Maybe they can work towards catching the car ahead. Janis Fischer behind, though, the Mercedes, is the quickest driver on the track at the moment. That yellow and black machine with a 1:29.941 last time around, the absolute best lap of the race so far. He's just done a 1:30.4, which was significantly quicker than the two Mustangs, which held each other up a bit while they were fighting, with 1:31.5 for Callas and a 1:32.1 for Vega, whereas a 1:30.4 for the Mercedes. So that, if they're not careful, that Mercedes is going to be with them, the Schnitzelhelm car, and fighting for a podium itself.
So picking up a slipstream along turn 2, that's Alan Valente, who's having a little look at the 11th place of Finn Zulauf, just showing his nose on the outside. I think Zulauf would quite like to have a challenge on Jonathan Cicotto, but he knows that if he goes to the outside, doesn't make it stick, Valente is going to steal that position away. At the moment, our leading Pro-Am car is the number 23 car of Richard Gonda for Senkeer Motorsport. Great to have Senkeer Motorsport here. They're from the Czech Republic. They did a full season in 2015 in ADAC GT Masters. They guested here at the Red Bull Ring in 2017. They're in a non-Evo BMW in the Schubert colours with 2 Slovakian drivers, but non-Evo, it doesn't have the up-to-date Evo kit, so they're doing a great job leading the way in the Pro-Am race. Second in the Pro-Am race is the number 8 car, Jonas Karklees. That car was comprehensively destroyed at the Salzburg Ring last week when Emil Jördrum had a puncture going into the very fast corner. Liquimoli team Ensler have done a phenomenal job getting that back together, and that's running second in the Pro-Ams. Third in the Pro-Ams is Ernst Kirschmeier for Baron Motorsport team, and Ernst Kirschmeier, a name that those who follow the Ferrari Challenge will recognise. 69 years old and still going strong, certainly proving that in 15th place overall.
Yeah, and hats off to him. Meanwhile, Gerhard Schreiser continuing to make progress back up the order. So he got past Leighton Fury on the most recent lap, and the Lamborghini now up into 7th place. There he goes through the shot, so it's not turning into a great first stint this for Leighton Fury, as you say, perhaps struggling with that extra weight on the car, the success ballast, but just trying to stay in the mix at the moment. So he's back to 8th place. Cosseteng is the next target then for Teresa, and he's catching him up, like, on the way into turn 4. So that's a battle to watch. There's 3 seconds at the moment between the top 2, but an absolute best first sector of this lap has just gone to Sandro Olsem in 2nd place in the BMW. So he's taken about 0.3 of a second out of the race leader. However, he loses all of that and more through the middle part of the lap, the longer sector 2. Hanke in the Audi pulls back away from him, so it's going to perhaps, if anything, be a slightly bigger race lead at the end of this one than it was for Hanke previously.
Nicholas Callas has been shown a black and white flag for exceeding track limits. Also, the incident between Simon Birch and Jonathan Cicotto is under investigation, has been reported to the steward. So they're keeping an eye on that. They're keeping an eye on track limits. Nico Hanke is keeping an eye on a completely open track in front of him. We're still just under 10 minutes away from the pit window opening. So Hanke, everything under control. 3 points to the good of Sandro Olsem. Nicholas Callas is about 3.1 back from Sandro Olsem. So the 1, 2, 3 well spaced out, but anything could happen behind Salman Vega in particular, with Janis Fischer closing in on him. 1.494 is now the gap. So Fischer is taking chunks out of the gap between himself and Salman Vega. Yeah,
he's the quickest driver on the track at the moment, and he has been for a few laps consecutively now. There then is Leighton Fury's actually keeping the Porsche of Simon Birch at a fairly comfortable distance, but not comfortable is the gap from Eduardo Cosseteng back to Gerhard Teresa. 6th and 7th go through turn 4. The Lamborghini, the luminous yellow car, catching up now to the black and white BMW of the Filipino driver, the ex-single-seater Formula 4 racer. and son of multiple touring car champion Jody Cosseteng. So Eduardo with work cut out now to try and hang on to this 6th place. Meanwhile, Fitcher again took about 0.3 of a second out of the Mustang of Vega on the previous lap. So that gap now around about 1.4 seconds from 4th to 5th. No way through really in the middle of the lap, so you've just got to sit tight, try and line it up, and the best bet is to stay tight through the next corner, turn 1, get on the gas. The exit here is absolutely crucial, Brian, because it's a really long, steep climb up from turn 1 to the next braking zone at turn 3.
Yeah, the one thing about this circuit is that it creates great overtaking opportunities. So you need to get it right. You make a mistake and you leave yourself vulnerable behind. And this point here is the best overtaking opportunity. Take turn 2 absolutely flat out, and then up the hill. It's a really steep climb into that turn 3. And under braking is where we see many overtaking challenges. And then into turn 4, another great opportunity. And Twereza now with the Lamborghini with a nose just to the side. Eduardo Cosseteng in that 6th place. They're running side by side. Twereza steals it away even before they hit the braking zone.
Nicely done that. You can see why he was the quickest in qualifying. So he charges back up another position, back up into the top 6 now for Gerhard. He's got a fairly big gap to try and make any more places up though. So the next battle to watch is going to be Janis Fitcher, because he took half a second out of Vega on the previous lap. So the Mustang, the number 1 white Mustang, being gobbled up by that yellow and black Schnitzelarm Mercedes for 4th and 5th positions, and actually still not far ahead of Vega is the maroon HRT Mustang being driven by Nicholas Callas. So if Fitcher can catch a Vega, he can catch Callas, and he can challenge for a podium finish here in the Mercedes. Still continuing to push on. They come past the commentary box window, and there's not much at all between them. Now here they are then into your picture. 3rd, 4th and 5th place is now with them, and then you got Twereza with that 5.8 second gap that he's got to try and make up if he's going to get any more positions in this race.
There's still a long way to go, but if the race had finished now, Samuel Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus would extend their lead over Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman by 12 points. Leo Pickler and Simon Birch would be 37 points adrift. Certainly not out of the equation, but when you look how strong they were at the start of the season, they will be thoroughly disappointed with that. But we've still got 41 minutes to go. We're still 6 minutes away from a pit window opening. We've still got the number 2 drivers to come in. Lots of strategy to play out, lots of racing to come, and who knows what the weather might do as well, because it's getting quite dark outside here at the moment. But at the moment, Nico Handke has it covered off. Denis Bulatov will be standing by in the pits to take over when he does come into the pits. Further back though, the fighting continues. Eduardo Cosseteng, Leighton Fury, Simon Birch, all together in the background. Jonathan Cecotto as well. This feels like something that could explode at any moment.
Yeah, and Birch is kind of in a sandwich here, isn't he? He wants to attack, but he's also got to defend. He wants to get past Leighton Fury. He's not really had an opportunity to even have a challenge yet. He's also got to keep an eye on the mirrors, because constantly ducking and trying to find a gap and showing his nose is Johnny Cecotto in the number 2 Mustang. There glasses over the curbs as they make their way out of turn 9 through turn 10 now, accelerating up to around about 240 kilometers an hour before they drop down the gears and make their way through turn 1. So this battle fascinating. If they start to trip over each other, then it's very possible the next group of cars, Finn Zulauf in the Lamborghini for Powell, and Alan Valenti in the Audi, could catch up as well.
Yes, just keeping it together and focusing and concentrating. Leighton Fury never backs off. Oh, there's one of the marker bollards, so you're meant to go to the inside of that. Well, the Schwarzer does exactly that in the FAC Autotech car, but they're having a very subdued afternoon. That visit to the pits at the start of the race has seen them down in 16th place, not even in a podium position in the FAC Autotech in the Pro-Am series, in the Pro-Am Championship, get there in the end. So not even in a podium position for that. They had a tough time of it last time out at the Salzburg Ring as well. So a long afternoon for Alexander Schwarzer. Alex Fack will get behind the wheel of that once the pit window opens. That will be in about 4 minutes' time. There is the bollard. Here comes Tim Hooter. Is he going to go over it? Yes, he is. Just moves it to the side. That's very helpful indeed, actually. So it's off the racing line. And there is Gerhard Twereza, the number 44 car in 6th place. We've seen him in 6 different seasons in GT Masters over the years, and it's great to have him back here. His first year in GT Masters back in 2012. Has been making appearances since then. A really rapid driver, was in numerous different seats last year, and great to have him back. His first visit to the GT Masters in 2025.
The other sub-championship to keep an eye on is the road to DTM, which is really close. Before this race, 6 points between Finn Wiebelhaus, Simon Vega and Leighton Fury. So that's another one as they look to get support and from the ADAC as they step up towards potentially a seat in DTM. Last year's champion, Tom Cullenden, now a DTM race, a side-by-side between the 2 BMWs. Leighton Fury trying to carry the momentum around the outside of his FK Performance teammate, Eduardo Cositeng. Cositeng, though, will have the inside line when they finally hit the brakes and head into the right-hander at turn 4, which is coming up at the bottom of this downhill run now. And Simon Birch gets the best view of all. 2 BMWs side by side, bit of contact as Cositeng goes out wide, and then the inside line coming up next for the left-hander, which should surely favour the South African. The orange machine should get through and does, and is Simon Birch going to try and follow him through with the Porsche? I think he will, you know, and he'll get the place done, not without a bit of contact. And then also coming through is the Mustang of Johnny Cecotto. So you lose 1 place, you lose 3 in this race.
And Finn Zulaf very nearly made it as well, but Jonathan Cecotto has got better and better as the season has gone on. Looking to the left and the right of Simon Birch as well, but Leighton Fury has now managed to break clear. Meanwhile, while all that's going on, Janis Fitcher has caught up with Salmon Ovega. Those 2 are running together, so that will be for 4th place. So there's a lot happening on all ends of the field. Look at that. So here comes Finn Zulaf in the background, Alan Valente, but Leighton Fury now trying to break clear of Simon Birch. He's in 7th place, Simon Birch in 8th, Jonathan Cecotto in 9th in the Mustang. Then Eduardo Cositeng unceremoniously shuffled out of line and relegated down the pack.
Yeah, once the line was stolen, it was very hard to get back onto the racing line because they were all nose to tail and wouldn't let him back in, would they? So very difficult. There wasn't much he could do really, other than try and stay where he was around the outside. But you always you're always fighting against the grip and the longer route around the corner, if that's the sense. So trying to gather himself back up now and try not to lose more places, as you say, to Finn Zulaf and potentially to Alan Valente as well, who have already started to queue up behind him. Then it's the first of the Pro-Ams there. Gonda doing a good job, isn't he? But Carclis going with him. So the BMW and the Lamborghini, 13th and 14th, cars 23 and 8th, first and 2nd in class. And they've been very close together for all of this race, really, so far. Just under 36 minutes left on the clock.
Less than a minute remaining before the pit window opens, and then it's going to be strategy time. I get a feeling Nico Handke will not want to be coming in too soon. He's got an open track in front of him. Simon Birch won't want to be coming in too soon either. He's clearly having a good time trying to get past Leighton Fury. He is so rapid in the Razoon more than Racing Porsche. He and Leo Bickler have been such a strong combination, and Simon Birch now picks up the slipstream as they head up towards turn 1. Gerhard Twerese taking a very wide line. In fact, they all take that wide line, trying to get that good entry and then hitting the apex of the corner and then a good exit out of turn 1. But as we head out now towards turn 2, is Simon Birch going to have the pace? Is he going to be able to pick up a slipstream and make a move on Leighton Fury? They come up the steep hill under braking. Birch shows his nose to the inside, but really just trying to distract Leighton Fury, flashing the lights. Jonathan Cecotto there as well. Then Eduardo Cositeng, Finn Zulaf in the queue, Alan Valente, all looking a bit impatient here, but the pit window is open. So now we're going to see the strategy starting to unfold. Everybody will need to come in within the next 10 minutes. Leighton Fury still at the front of that queue. Simon Birch still there as well.
So fantastic race. It's good, clean racing for the most part, though, isn't it? There, Leighton Fury losing all those places on that first couple of laps of the race, but he's sort of settled into it now. Pit window open, and we've got our first pit visitor, which is going to be Tim Huta, who had that spin on lap 1 coming out of turn 3. So he comes in for this mandatory pit stop, and that's Vega coming in as well, isn't it? So from 4th place, Salmon Vega is the first of the front runners to pull the pin, come into the pits and make his mandatory stop.
Finn Wiebelhaus will be limbering up in the wings. Vega already loosening the belts. There's no massive hurry here because they've got that minimum pit stop time from pit entry to pit exit of 85 seconds for the silver drivers. In the number 6 car, you're going to see Felix Hersiger jumping in to replace Tim Hooter. Felix Hersiger, who we've seen in Porsche 6 Carrera Cup Germany. We also saw him in DTM Trophy in 2020, so great to welcome him back to the ADAC circuit now. Right, out gets Salman Vega, in gets Finn Wiebelhaus, getting buckled up. So the team are playing the strategy here. There's Julian Hanses. Oh, he was brave last weekend. He got a wheel on the dirt on the 270km/h corner at Salzburgring. He takes over from Eduardo Kozateg at the wheel of the FK Performance Motorsport BMW. So we've got the number 1, the number 10. Also in is the number 66. So Ernst Kirschmeier handing over to Fabrizio Crestani. Great to have him here. Also Alex Schwartz handing over to Alex Fack, and we've already mentioned Tim Hooter handing over to Felix Hersiger. You just see there Denis Bulatov. He'll be itching to get behind the wheel of the Nico Handke car, but I think Nico's not in a hurry to surrender that. He's in a strong position at the moment. 3.6 seconds clear of Sandro Holzem.
Yeah, so Wiebelhaus coming out, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, don't get too early, 1 second. That looks good, doesn't it? So goes through to within 0.3 of a second of that minimum pit stop time. That's excellent by HRT. So 85 seconds the minimum stop time from the pit line entry to the pit lane exit. He did it 85.3 seconds. I was slightly worried he was going to go a bit too early there, but he timed it almost to perfection.
Of course, they can't just go and park up at the white line and wait for the clock to tick down. Yeah. Once the car is into the fast lane, they have to keep moving. They can't back off out of it. So it is all timed to perfection. Valuable seconds can be lost in the pit stop sequence, but if they go below the minimum pit stop time, it really hurts because they'll pick up a penalty. So we've had quite a few cars that have come in for their stop. The P goes dark green from grey when they have done their stop. There's a Holzem in now, so Sandra Holzem handing over to Juliano Holzem, the twins who have been getting so quick this year. Every round they seem to get quicker and quicker. They've had a 3rd place last weekend at the Salzburgring, then followed it up with a 4th place. So really successful for them in the championship hunt. Now, just having a look underneath, not allowed to change tyres on a sprint race. Only allowed a couple of mechanics to work on the car as well, take tyre pressures. That's about as much as they can do. The indication is given. He'll aim to hit the pit exit line when the clock strikes 0. Schubert Motorsport are pretty good at this. Let's see how good it is. Oh, that's 0.1, so a tenth of a second. That's about as close as you'd want to take it, I
mean. Don't go any closer than that. That's excellent, really good. So that's 0.2 of a second gained in the pit stop phase alone over the number 1 car, just keeping an eye on. So as he came out of the pits, coming out of the final turn, was the number 1 car now driven by Finn Wiebelhaus. So the number 16 car yet to come in, but Janus Fitcher has come in. So Hanke and Callas, 1st and 2nd, yet to come into the pits. But Janus Fitcher now is having a really good stint there, wasn't he? Pulled off a couple of good moves. He comes in the Schnitzel Mercedes AMG. He's going to hand over to Moritz Viskirchen, and they're going to try and get as close as they can to that minimum pit stop 85-second time as well. So Gerhard Fraser will potentially now move up to 3rd place. It costs you 85 seconds is almost the equivalent of a full lap around this fairly short circuit as well. So that's also to bear in mind. Just so the Holzem car, which is the first of the pit stoppers, just coming into sector 3. That's coming out of turn 7. It's actually just in front of the car that leads the race on the track, and then behind the car that leads the race, the number 16 car of Hanke, the 2nd best of the pit stoppers, the number 1 car of Finn Wiebelhaus in the Mustang.
Yeah, it's interesting because you come out of your pit stop and you're still fighting with the same people. You're just a lap down, but of course they have to pit, and that's exactly what's happening now. Nico Handke has peeled off into the pit lane. So here comes the car that has led every lap of the race so far. It's going to hand the lead over to Nicholas Callas. No, it's not, because he's coming in as well. So Twereza will take the lead of the race. Right, there's Denis Bulatov. Didn't even get to sit in the seat of that car last weekend. He's going to get a chance today. He opens the door 4. Tears Nico Handker out, well, helps him out anyway. The seat insert goes in. You can see they're different heights, different builds, so make sure they're well secured in the seat. In gets Dennis Bulatov. Right, Nicholas Callas handing over to Max Rice. Max Rice jumps into the car. He has his seat insert in hand. Now he gets in. Great view from on board of Max Rice getting strapped in. The outgoing driver helps the incoming driver to get buckled up, plugged in. We'll wish him good luck. Probably tap him on the head, say, go for it, bring it home. Right, out there, Finn Wiebelhaus and Moritz Viskersen running on pretty well the same bit of track. Out they come. So it's still a little bit further back. So the leading stopper at the moment is Juliana Holzem. Then it's these two, Finn Wiebelhaus and Moritz Viskersen. So that they are in second and third of the stoppers. Of course, we've still got plenty more cars to come through. But at the moment, Finn Wiebelhaus looks to have Moritz Viskersen covered off.
Yeah, so the Holzem car, the BMW, just going through turn 9 at the moment. And then third and fourth of the pit stoppers, you just had in shot. Whoa, way out wide goes the BMW of Holzem. Track limits, all the way out at turn 10. That was super, super wide, wasn't it? Then, also a little bit wide, but not quite as wide, was Finn Wiebelhaus. So he's off the road there as well, isn't he, under braking? In fact, they all take a wide line on the way into turn 1. So they're second, third and fourth of the pit stoppers, but they're going to be splits, aren't they? The next car coming out of the pits is going to be the ex-Callas car. The Mustang now been taken over, and then that's Max Rice that has got right into the middle of this fight as well. Remember, that car was running third before the pit stops and is only just in front of the #1 car that it was battling with before the pit stops for the final spot on the podium. It stays just ahead. I tell you what, though, those two Mustangs, to me, I reckon they're closer to the Holzem BMW than they were pre-pit stops.
I'm not entirely sure that wide line that Holzem took was the quickest way around that corner.
About half a mile longer, wasn't it?
And we know how quick the Merc is behind them as well, so this is all compressing. Meanwhile, Simon Birch is into the pit, so Leo Pickler will be jumping behind the wheel of that car. Finn Zulauf is in, handing over to Simon Connor Prim. I wonder if they've got, I see the clock saying plus 20. I don't see any issues at the moment. Remember though, the Pro-Am cars have got a shorter pit stop by 15 seconds, so the cars with the green numbers are going to get propelled into the action here when the pit window is done. But look at this, Finn Wiebelhaus and Max Rice, they've had a few battles over the years. They were running for the same team in the F4 French series a couple of years ago, but they're in the same team here, but they're certainly in a fight against each other here, heading up towards turn 1. Wiebelhaus to the inside, under braking. Max Rice has him covered off. The two identical cars, but the white car with a little bit more weight on board, out of turn 1, in towards turn 2 they come, but keep an eye on the Mercedes behind. Can Moritz Viskersen show similar pace to Janis Fitcher? He may well be able to challenge both of the cars in front as they head up the hill towards turn 3. Wiebelhaus to the inside, under braking. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he can. Max Rice, though, has the momentum around the wide outside. Out towards turn 4 they will come. Rice still in that position. Wiebelhaus just nestled in behind, and then under braking into turn 4 they will come. Looks like Rice has him covered off at the moment, but keep an eye on Moritz Viskersen behind. There's Jonathan Chicotto handing over to Dennis Fetzer.
Yeah, some of the ex-motorcycle world champions, older brother, a racer back in the day in GP2 as well. To race a really good first stint from Gerhard to get himself back at the order and back up into the top 6. So he's effectively coming from the lead. Leighton Fury has come in as well, and Alan Valente has come in to make the stop. But this effectively, once it all settles down, is going to be for the final spot on the podium. Same order as they were before, with the maroon #3 car now being driven by Max Rice, just ahead of that white #1 HRT car, and still right with them is that Schnitzel Mercedes as well, which is now being driven by Viskersen. They're all tied together. They've got to be careful not to hold each other up, because they're on the same sort of pace as that BMW of Juliana Holzem ahead. They fight each other, they'll hold each other up. If they work together, there's a chance they could, all three of them, catch that BMW potentially.
Yeah, I mean, they could all slipstream each other and actually close in, but of course when they're fighting each other, it's actually slowing them down. In the background is the number 23 BMW as well. As a result of that shorter pit stop, Rudolf Benno, the bronze-rated Slovakian driver, 46 years old, only started in motorsport 2 years ago. He's in the St. Clair Racing Driver training program. You're never too old to become a racing driver, and he has shown some really good pace as well. On board with Simon Connor Prim in the 33 car, so he is in a lot further back than he'd hoped to be, so 12th place at the moment. Right, where's Denis Bulatov? He is certainly at the front at the moment. Juliana holds him into second place with the pit stop sequences done. So Bulatov up towards the latter part of the lap as Dennis Fetzer goes wheel to wheel with Leo Pickler. So this is for 9th place. Fetzer in the Mustang slots in behind Leo Pickler, though, looking a little bit vulnerable to the big bruising Mustang.
Yeah, the Mustang just went a bit wide on the way through turn 4 and lost its momentum going down the hill then into the next sequence of corners. So that was where he then got stung a couple of corners later as just lost his rhythm and momentum, really. So the Porsche came through and has left him behind now. So it's 23.5 minutes left on the clock, and Bulatov 8.3 seconds clear in the Audi of Holcim. So really come through that phase very well indeed, and he's half a second quicker than the BMW at the moment per lap as well, and about 2 seconds behind Holcim. The battle for third between Max Rice, Finn Wiebelhaus in their respective Mustangs, and then Viskirchen in the Mercedes running in 5th place.
This is a great battle here. This is for 11th place. So with the pit window closed, everybody crossed the line. We get a clear picture of who is where, but that's changed already because Simon Connor Prim to the inside of Konopka. That is for 11th place. Julian Hanses following through as well up into 12th place. Julian Hanses with a lot of pace on the inside of the Lamborghini. So Konopka, who took over from Twereza into turn 4, not really able to fend off the BMW, has the tighter line and the grip out of turn 4 in towards turn 5. The view back from Simon Connor Prim as he disappears into the distance. Konopka coming back though, but Julian Hanses hanging it around the outside. This is Simon Connor Prim, and it looks like his window net has come down. Now that is really, really difficult, trying to put that up and race at the same time. That's going to be flapping around, and he'll want to get that repositioned. That'll be a big distraction for him.
Absolutely will, won't it? The two leading Pro-Am cars, because of their much shorter pit stop, 15 seconds shorter, have moved up to 6th and 7th place now. It's the number 23 car of now driven by Rudolf Benno, running well, he was running ahead of the Emil Gerdrum car, but that now Lamborghini has come ahead of it, so they swapped around out of sight. They're up to 6th and 7th, but it's Gerdrum now ahead, the Norwegian driver. He took over that Liqui Moly Team Exler Lamborghini from Jonas Karklis, the Lithuanian. So the two Pro-Ams, 6th and 7th now. The leading Pro-Am now becomes the Lamborghini of Emil Gerdrum.
So Emil Gerdrum, who had that monstrous accident last weekend, certainly putting that behind him and showing great pace. He's very much in the Pro-Am Championship hunt with Alex Fack all the way down in 16th place and 4th in the Pro-Ams. This will be a great opportunity to close in on the Pro-Am title. At the moment, coming into this weekend, 32 points was the gap between Fack and Schwarzer and Gerdrum and Jonas Karklis, as Julian Hanses is the next to have a go at Adam Konopka. So for 12th place, Julian Hanses in the BMW, run side by side. But I have to say, great job from Adam Konopka, making his debut in ADAC GT Masters. He's been part of the Michelin 24-hour series, and he's the son of team boss Miroslav Konopka for ARC Bratislava, but doing a really good job on debut.
Absolutely, yeah, and really good first stint from Twereza. Look at that, absolutely on the very edge of a Edition here. You watch on board with Pickler trying to find a gap. Tim Zimmerman hanging on just about by a thread to the tyres as he made his way through those very quick 2 turns. Oh, that's the Mercedes slowing up, I'm afraid, of Viskirchen, and that is just crawling towards turn 1. Technical problem by the looks of it. The Mercedes is going to grind to a halt. Moritz Viskirchen He's going to try and pull across to the left-hand side of the circuit very sensibly to try and get out of the way and stay off the road. But what a shame. Janis Fichter with a great drive in the first stint. Viskirch was right up there in the podium fight with the two Mustangs, but something has gone awry and the car pulled off. Still got the engine running by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
It's not a flat, I don't think.
Front right.
Something's broken.
Yeah, front right looks at a slightly odd angle, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, Simon Conner-Prim has been called into the pits. He's been shown the black and orange flag, the meatball flag, if you will. So he has been called in as a result of that window net. So we're looking there. Is that oil?
There's a lot of grass in the radiator as well.
Yeah. But that looks like, is that oil on the front there? I don't know what colour it was originally, but clearly a major issue that's taken that car out of the race with a little over 19 minutes remaining. And great advert for Mercedes and the badge, but probably not the advert they want with him parked at the side of the track, I should think.
Meanwhile, on course for a first win, Denis Bolotov edging away from everybody. 9.5 seconds now, his advantage. So doing a terrific job. That's a great comeback story, wasn't it, after the horrible accident that Fichter had at Salzburgring, and Bolotov not getting into the car to get a win next time out. And this is a replay. Well, he went wide to start with, then that's why all the grass is in the radiator. But I suspect something had gone on the car before that. Takes out a marker for good measure, but I think something had gone on the car to cause him to go wide in the first place there. So Bolotov, number 16, leading then in the Audi, looking for a first win of the season for Scherer Sport. 9.5 seconds clear of Giuliano Holzem in the number 56 Schubert Motorsport BMW. Could be a good day for Schubert today. They had a win and second place finish in the DTM race just before this. Finn Wiebelhaus and Max Rice for HRT and the two Ford Mustangs. Cars 1 and 3 ran third and fourth. Fifth and sixth now are Emil Yerdrum, the leading Pro-Am driver, in the number 8 Equimoli Lamborghini. He is already 4 seconds clear of Benno now in the BMW, who's second in the Pro-Ams and 6th overall. And then you'll be watching Leo Pickler fighting away, having got ahead of Tim Zimmerman up to 7th place now and getting absolutely stuck in here with Zimmerman to his outside now, trying to get the place back. Just in front of them is Benno in the Pro-Am car, and just behind them is Denis Fichter in the next of the Mustangs.
Oh, Denis Fichter has looked so quick in that car, but he's left himself with a Lamborghini to the inside. Now, it has that Lamborghini been into the pits. It was showing the black and orange flag. It's muscled its way past the muscle car out onto the pit straight, just driven past in 9th place. But I don't think Simon Conner-Prim has responded to the black and orange flag yet. I'm wondering if he has resolved the problem in the car, because I don't see the window net flapping any longer. But the stewards will no doubt take a look at that. Meanwhile, just looking at the points, if the race finished now, Salman Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus would open up a gap of 15 points for Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman. Leo Pickler, Simon Birch would be in third with 38 points. The Holzems would jump up to fourth, 39 points adrift, as we see Moritz Viskerschen just shaking his head as he walks away. So much promise. They were in 9th place, 66 points back coming into this race, but clearly it's going to be a no score from this race, and that is going to really drop them out of the championship hunt.
Yeah, looking for a third podium of the season potentially, but that has not happened.
Oh, look at this.
Fantastic battling going on all the way down the field, really. You've got all these battles going on. It is at an angle, it was, So I think that's what sent him off wide. I don't think it's because he went onto the grass. It didn't look that bad, did it, for Viskerschen? It was the cause rather than the effect, I think. So, suspension damage to the front right, and such a shame because that car was going along very, very nicely indeed. So here we got in the foreground in the BMW, the driver that's second in the Pro-Am category at the moment, a number 23 car of Benno, and then Tim Zimmerman right behind in the next BMW, followed by Leo Pickler in the Porsche, and Simon Conner-Prim still running in 9th place in the Lamborghini, and with the headlights flashing now to try and distract the car ahead.
Heading up into turn 1. The shot that we'd seen previously, I had to double check, it was Fabrizio Cristani who got past Julian Hanses into 11th place. So that was a really good job on his debut in ADAC GT Masters. Meanwhile, this fight here for 6th place, up the hill we come, is Benno, Zimmerman, Pickler, Zimmerman to the inside, BMW versus BMW. Remember, the red and black BMW is an older Evo model, and now looking a bit vulnerable to Leo Pickler as well. Pickler has that inside line, he's going to keep that inside line line into turn 4 here. It actually just looks to drive away from the BMW. Also following through, Simon Connor Prim and also Dennis Fetzer. In fact, the BMW just losing a handful of positions in that short straight. 5
places lost from turn 3 to turn 4. Of course, he's not battling with them per se because he's a Pro-Am driver, but also now have a lot of cars in between himself and Emil Gjerdrum. He's doing a really good job. Once again, the Norwegian driver running 5th place overall, leading Pro-Am driver. He's got a big gap to Max Rice ahead, but a pretty big gap behind as well. So he's one of the few drivers out there, Gjerdrum, who's kind of on his own on track at the moment. The other one is Denis Bolasov, who's completely on his own, at the front. Now, he's just gone through your shot. He's kept that advantage pretty stable for a few laps now, around about 9.5 seconds. But the gap from second to third, as you can see, keeps coming down, and it's come right down now. Is he going to go for it at the first opportunity? Finn Wiebelhaus, he's thinking about it. Almost runs into the back left corner of the BMW as it goes through turn 3. Holtzum keeps his foot on the gas, stays around the outside. You're on board with Finn Wiebelhaus in the white Mustang in 3rd place. They're now barrel down towards the right-hander at turn 4. Is he going to go for it? I don't think the inside line is going to be open. He's going to have to hang it around the outside and try and do something down at turn 6 or back on the exit to the corner. I have to say, though, Holtzum positioned that car perfectly through turn 4 and keeps the place.
Yeah, good job from Juliana Holzum for 2nd place. On board with Simon Connor Prim as he sails past Leo Pickler, so that is for 7th place. As far as the podium goes, I think Max Rice fancies a bit of silver as well, because he's closing in. We're looking again at the 33 car, getting past the Porsche, the number 14 Porsche, out of turn 10, out along the pit straight. So the Lamborghini working its way back forwards. I don't think it visited the pits, so the black and orange flag applies. Car 66 has had a track limit warning as well, so that's Fabio Crestani. But look at this. This is Juliana Holzum in 2nd place, Finn Wiebelhaus in 3rd. Behind them, just out of shot, is Max Rice in another of the Mustangs. Wiebelhaus out of turn 1, he will come.
And Alex Fack has got past Benno as well now, which means the Porsche, the Fack Autotech Porsche, up to 3rd place in the Pro-Am category. Here you go, those side by side again, running up the hill through turn 2, into the right-hander at turn 3, nose in front for the Mustang, but he's on the wrong line, Brian. He's going to have to try and hang around the outside all the way to turn 4. He ain't going to give up easy, though, and he does go all the way around the outside. Finn Wiebelhaus gets the job done. Brave stuff. He goes 2nd.
Can I just say, great driving from Juliana Holzum. He hasn't put a wheel wrong there, and we've got a change of positions, incorrect overtaking, not them. That's 66 and 10, so it's Fabio Crestani and Julian Hanses have been told to change positions. But Juliana Holzum has just really done everything right, but the Mustang, clearly a quicker car. Now, can he hold off Max Rice? Rice in 3rd place and closing. Look how hard that Finn Wiebelhaus is driving that Ford Mustang.
Pirellis are pretty good in the gravel, aren't they? So Crestani's got to give the place back to Hanses. He's going to lose 2 places because in between them is Dennis Fetzer in the Mustang. So if he waves one through, he's going to have to wave them both through. So that's going to be actually beneficial to Fetzer. He's going to move up to 9th place as a result of that. Unless Crestani can do something very clever. I doubt it, though. So the leader goes through shot. 11.5 minutes to go. Bolatov. Gap's come down a bit, 9.4 seconds. Wiebelhaus then trying to get his head down now. It's a big gap to try and bridge, but he'll have a go. Still plenty of time left in it. Holzum in 3rd place now, has to keep an eye on the mirrors for Rice. Gjerdrum there, sparking as he goes off the road on the way into turn 1 in the Pro-Am leading Lamborghini. And then this is the battle then for 6th place, the orange BMW for FK Performance, being driven by Tim Zimmerman. Simon Connor Prim in the Lamborghini, Leo Pickler in the Porsche going after him. And here you go, that's the number 2 Dennis Fetzer Mustang getting stuck in with Julian Hanses as well, but they're both about to be waved through by Crestani, or they should be anyway.
So Dennis Fetzer in 10th place, Julian Hanses in 11th. We're on board with Alex Fack. He's got a great view of this. Is he going to try and mug all of them up the hill into turn 3? Hanses, well, to the inside he comes, but the 66 car, Crestani at the wheel. What a scrap this is at the moment. The Mustang holding on to that position. Dennis Fetzer, but Julian Hanses, man on a mission. The Ferrari looking very quick as well. Into turn 4 we come. Alex Fack tries to take advantage, but look at this. Julian Hanses to the inside. There is an update on the points. If the race finished now, but it's all changed all the time. Julian Hanses, the inside becomes the outside. The Mercedes and the Mustang briefly side by side. You can see the back end really struggling to hold on. Julian Hanses, here comes Alex Fack. Now to the outside of Crestani as well. So 4 cars running almost as a block here around turns 7 and 8. Fack now managed to muscle in front of the Ferrari. Well, he's got a nose in front, but now loses that position into turn 9. The Ferrari just outgunning him into turn 9. So Julian Hanses has got there past Dennis Fetzer into 9th place. Dennis Fetzer, then it's the very impressive Crestani, then it's Alex Fack. Carrie Schreiner in there as well, closing in on this battle. So good job from her in 13th place. Crestani looks to the inside into turn 1 of Dennis Fetzer. Fetzer has it covered off, but now Crestani with Alex Fack breathing down his exhaust pipe. Fack picks up the slipstream. He's going to duck out of it. You just know it. Around turn 2, up towards turn 3 they come. He goes to the outside, under braking. He tries to switch back to the inside. Crestani up nice and close to Dennis Fetzer, but here comes Alex Fack on the inside. They run absolutely neck and neck, wheel to wheel towards turn 4. It's the drag race. Porsche versus Ferrari under the heavy braking. Fack will have the inside line into the corner. So under braking, Crestani squeezes him onto the grass, but Fack keeps his toe buried in it and finally moves up into 11th place. Top
Driving that from Alex Fack, wasn't it? You can see why he was a race winner in the Porsche Super Cup a few years ago at the British Grand Prix, and he's now up to 2nd in the Pro-Am class with that move. We've given the car started basically from the pit lane with that problem at the end of the formation lap. That's a bit of a result. No chance of catching Yerdrum, who's 5th overall and way up the road, but still, in fact, getting stuck in. He doesn't really care if they're Pro-Ams or not, does he? He's getting stuck in and trying to overtake as many cars as possible, as that's Knopko coming through shot now. He's got ahead of Benno as well, so Benno's gone backwards, hasn't he, quite quickly in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the race. So here we go again, side by side on the way to turn 1. He's going to lose the place back again. So Crestani gets back up the inside, almost gets 2 for the price of 1, because he almost got at the inside of Dennis Fetzer at the same time, which I think he's going to try and do at the next turn now. He's carried such momentum coming out of turn 1, luck. He's going to go up the inside of that Mustang into the right-hand. He'll get there before they get to the braking zone. So Crestani sends the Ferrari up 2 places from 12th to 10th and gets 2nd in class back.
You wouldn't believe this was his debut in GT Masters, would you? That's very impressive. So Fabrizio Crestani, who's come from International GT Open. We look down on him from turn 4. He's in front of the Mustang. But look at Carrie Schreiner also closing in on Alex Fack. So Carrie Schreiner very much in the mix. She's something of a veteran of GT Masters. We saw her back in 2019 making her debut here. So Leo Pickler in the number 14, 8th place Porsche at the moment. Julian Hanses, Simon Conner-Prim, they're all kind of glued together, but at the front of that queue is Tim Zimmerman in 6th place, having taken over from Leighton Fury.
Yeah, 6th, 7th and 8th, but these 3 cars are 2nd, 4th and 3rd in the championship at the moment. So big battle for big points here between the BMW of Tim Zimmerman, the Lamborghini of Simon Conner-Prim and the Porsche of Leo Pickler, who you're on board with now. They're running 6th, 7th and 8th. They're all losing points to the championship leaders Salman Avega and Finn Wiebelhaus, who are currently running 2nd in the Ford Mustang, about to pick up 20 points and about to move 18 points clear of Fury and Zimmerman. Also, just to keep an eye on the gap from 1st to 2nd, come down from 9.5 to 7.8 seconds. Wiebelhaus is giving this a real good go.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he? I did say Fabio Crestani, this was his debut. Of course, he did guest here with Ernst Kirschmeier this time last year, didn't he? Got 6th place. So he's certainly very rapid. So it is his 2nd appearance in GT Masters, 2nd weekend, as we look at Leo Pickler once again putting the pressure on. The Razzoon More Than Racing Porsche enjoying its home race in 8th place at the moment. Simon Conner-Prim holding on in the Lamborghini, but now the Porsche has a look on the the inside. Tim Zimmerman at the front of that queue will try and use this opportunity to break clear. I think Simon Conoprim just in that position where if he challenges the car in front, he's just going to let through the Porsche. But at the moment, Tim Zimmerman in 6th place, still looking solid. Dennis Bulatov leading the way. Finn Wiebel has Juliana Holzem. Max Rice is now just half a second behind Juliana Holzem, so the podium fight is not over yet either.
No, been a really good race, this, hasn't it? From start to finish, lots of battles going on for be it podium positions or 5th or 6th or pro-am positions on the podium as well. Excellent fighting, and every point counts when it's so close in the championship as well. So even if you're not battling for a podium, you get extra points for finishing 4th rather than 5th or 5th rather than 6th. It's really meaningful at this stage of the season. Getting a replay now of the Porsche dipping a wheel, 2 wheels right over the curb through the gravel trap, and Pickler having a bit of a bouncy run there down through the middle section, down through turns 6 and 7, but hopefully no harm done to the car. The number 14 Porsche carries on. There's your race leader then, Dennis Bulatov, looking to follow up that 2nd place finish in the rain at the Lausitz Ring early on in the season with first victory of 2025, 7.3 seconds, the gap coming down, but he should have enough of a buffer here not to get too stressed about all this with 4 minutes plus a lap to go. He goes over the start line. Look, just coming out of the last corner is the Mustang of Finn Wiebelhaus. Wow. Who is flying, isn't he? 1 minute 31.1, quickest driver on track by more than half a second at the moment. Although I get the sense that Bulatov is just sort of driving within himself here and holding things up. He might be able to go a bit quicker, I reckon, if he really had to respond.
Yeah, it's just important. Don't make mistakes. Don't get a puncture. Don't put it in the gravel trap. Don't overstress the car. Just bring it home now with 3.5 minutes remaining. No such luxury for Juliana Holzem because Max Rice is going to try and shuffle him off the podium. Up to turn 3 they come. Rice just showing himself at the moment, flashing the lights, trying to distract him. Holzem has him covered off, but the rate that Max Rice has closed in, don't know how much longer he can hold on for. Can Juliana Holzem hold that 3rd place for another 3 minutes and 10 seconds plus the 1 lap? It's going to be quite a tall stretch because Max Rice really has some pace at the moment into turn 4. We're on board with him. You can see the back end of the BMW just struggling with traction a little bit. Max Rice lining him up. It's turn 5 and 6 and 7 they come. Holzem needs to focus in front, not what is behind. He'll have a nice empty road in front of him, but Max Rice trying to distract him, trying to do anything to make him put a wheel wrong. Out into turn 8 they come, and in towards turn 9. This is where Max Rice will want to try and get as close as possible, get a good exit out of turn 10. He has a little look on into turn 9 as well, just showing it. It wasn't a challenge for position, but now the back end of Max Rice stepping out. He's really monstering that car. Here they come, out along the pit straight they come, up towards turn 1, up the hill. So this will be the first opportunity for Max Rice. And if not here, if he can get a good exit out of this corner, this is the best overtaking opportunity coming up now. Out of 1, into turn 2. He will pick up a slipstream around turn 2, which is where they are now, flat out, up the hill. Will he make a challenge in towards turn 3? He just shows himself to the outside, making his intentions clear before they get to the braking point. Onto the outside, he'll try and switch back to the inside. Holzem has it covered off at the moment, out of 3, but now side by side. Max Rice, great racecraft for Max Rice here. In towards turn 4 they come. Holzem putting up a fight, a little bit of contact onto the left rear quarter into turn 4, but Rice has that quicker inside line. Holzem's going to try and hang it around the outside, but Max Rice now with a nose in front, but the inside very rapidly becomes an outside on this circuit. Still with Rice in front, but he's onto the outside now. Holzem, what a great job from him. The 2 cars running absolutely neck and neck. Rice now with a nose back in front. Holzem never give up, but to the inside. Rice on the outside, he comes again. This time the Mustang gets in front, but still Holzem is coming back. But this is the part of the circuit where Rice is so strong into 9 and 10. Finally shuffling Holzem off the podium. I tell you what, if you get a trophy for fighting, Holzem would get one there. Brilliant stuff.
That was turn 2, basically, to turn 9. Absolutely side by side. Right, that was 3 kilometres of racing. Absolutely side by side. Brilliant stuff. Gave each other mostly just enough room.
A little bit.
Not entirely, but that was great to watch, wasn't it? Superb. Yeah. And you can see what it means to both of them to try and get this final spot on the podium and this final trophy. Terrific racing from both drivers. Rice, though, digging his heels in. I think his dad was on the edge of his seat watching all of that. That was terrific driving, really, really good. Meanwhile, just don't worry about it too much, but 5.1 seconds is now the gap from first to second. So Wiebelhaus never giving up. He's half the gap, but unfortunately for him, it's not a 75-minute race, because if it was, he'd be in the money here. But again, I get the sense that Bolotov is just nursing the car through. He has responded a little bit on this lap, and back into the 131s, Bolotov in the Audi.
So the clock has struck 0, and Bolotov is up at turn 8 at the moment. So he'll complete this lap, and then it will be one more lap after that. So certainly controlling the pace as Max Rice breaks clear of Juliana Hosem. You mentioned Max's dad, Ralph Rice, who is one of the most passionate supporters you'll ever meet, does so much to promote his son, and he will be shouting. I can always hear him shouting from here, I think, right across the start-finish line to start the last lap of the race. Dennis Bolotov, he's got Finn Wiebelhaus covered off, but Wiebelhaus doing exactly what he needs to do, just making sure he's always in the mirrors. One last opportunity to distract him in the background. So the HRT cars running second and third at the moment. Dennis Fetzer down in 12th place. He'll be disappointed with that. Emil Yerdrum bouncing back from that horrible moment last Sunday afternoon to be in first place in the Pro-Ams at the moment. Second, Fabio Crestani on his second weekend in ADAC GT Masters. Alex Fack down in third place in the Pro-Ams in 11th place. So his progress somewhat halted, and there's damage on the Tim Zimmerman car. The front right looking very second-hand indeed. So he's in 9th place. Got Julian Hanses, who might fancy an opportunity to get past. And I mentioned Alex Fack, he might fancy an opportunity too. We're on that final lap. Here comes Hanses to the outside of the sister BMW, then cuts back to the inside. I think a bit of the bodywork going flying as well. So Zimmerman clearly has been in the wars. The two BMWs are going to run side by side, under braking very shortly into turn 4. Fack will probably want to follow Julian Hanses, I should think, and try and shuffle Zimmerman down 2 places rather than 1. So that's Hanses that's through. Now here comes Alex Fack as well. So Zimmerman shuffled down 2 places from 9th down to 11th.
Yeah, checkered flag out. Dennis Bolotov goes through, takes the victory there. First win in the ADAC GT Masters. Nico Anker and Dennis Bolotov. And, well, this sport can really have you in the doldrums. It can really kick you in the teeth at times. And it can be a no fault of your own. But occasionally, it all comes together and it makes everything worthwhile. And today has made everything worthwhile. All the heartache of a week ago, all the work the team will have been putting in the hours to get the car sorted again. And they've got it with a win now here at the Red Bull Ring just a week later. Finn Wiebelhaus, very impressive in that second half of the race to try and keep the pressure up at least on the race leader. But crucially, outscoring all of his key championship rivals here in Salman of Vega. That's 4 podiums out of the last 5 races now for Wiebelhaus and Vega. A replay of the moment that Dennis Bolotov took the checkered flag. Max Rice, that brilliant battle for almost a lap with Giuliano Holtzum getting that final spot on the podium. A 4th Pro-Am win of the season for the number 8 car, Emil Yerdrum, coming through to take the checkered flag in 5th place. Crestani was impressive as well. So Crestani had got past Tim Zimmerman when we rejoined that battle. Maybe that was why Zimmerman had some damage to the front right. Maybe those two came together. So Crestani had already got past him, and then he dropped 3 more places, or 2 more places behind Hanses and Fack, didn't he? So 11th place in the end for Tim Zimmerman and Leighton Fury, which means they only scored 5 championship points. They've given 15 points away to the championship leaders. But there, Brian, confirmation of the results on screen. Another great race in GT Masters.
So it's a first ever win for Nico Anker and Dennis Bolotov. It's been a long time coming, but they finally do it. Salman of Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus extending their championship lead in second ahead of Nicholas Callas and Max Rice, who had to come from the back. The Holzum twins, well, they should get a trophy as well for fighting in 4th place ahead of the Pro-Am winners, Jonas Karklis and Emil Yerdrum. Finn Zulaf, Simon Conoprim actually good recovery there ahead of Leo Pickler and Simon Birch, Fabrizio Crestani and Ernst Kirschmeier, and they are ahead of Julian Hanses and Eduardo Costeng in 9th. Then Alexander Schwarzer, Alex Fack in 10th, Leighton Fury, Tim Zimmerman in 11th, Jonathan Chicotto, Dennis Fetzer in 12th, and then Alan Valente, Carrie Schreiner, Gerhard Torreza, Adam Konopka rounding out the top 14, and then it's in 15th place, the 23 car of Rudolf Benno and Richard Gonda. Great stuff. What great racing. That was an hour that went past very quickly. Kind of entertainment and overtaking from start to finish in that race. As we look at some great slow-mos, once again the HRT cars featuring very, very heavily. The Mustangs really have arrived with a bang in ADAC GT Masters this year. But the old Audi R8, there's life in it yet, and it's won by some distance with Denis Bulatov and Nico Handke at the wheel. Shera Sport PHX, the team that used to be Phoenix Racing, based just opposite the Nürburgring on the industrial park. A really passionate team. Great to have them here in the ADAC GT Masters, and great to see Denis Bulatov and Nico Handke taking a first ever win. So into the pit lane they will come. There is the points calculations, all subject to confirmation. So Salman Vega, Finn Wiewerhaus, 21 points clear of Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman. Leo Pickler and Simon Birch is starting to get away from them a little bit, isn't it? In third place, 42 points back, ahead of Finn Zulauf and Simon Conner-Prim. There is Nico Handke, who is none the worse for wear after the crash last weekend, who greets Denis Bulatov as he gets ready to exit the car. And a first win. Had a feeling it was going to come sooner rather than later. But it's been a very up and down season for the number 16 team. They'd had that second place at the Lausitz Ring, the season opener, had been kind of around a couple of fifth places, 8th and 9th, but that top step had been eluding them. But finally here at the Red Bull Ring, it all comes together.
Neither of them put a wheel wrong in that race, did they? As far as I could see, they just drove like they were on a pair of rails. And yeah, it's a really nice story, as I say, for them to come back from a horrific weekend last weekend and not even able to take part in either of the races after that puncture and massive crash. Salman Vega there in the background, just about to come around to congratulate this man, Finn Wiewerhaus. Say another great podium finish for them, and crucially, it's the points really that matter more than anything now, with just 3 races to go. So there's available in the championship still 84 points available in the championship. Potentially as a maximum if you were to get pole in the remaining qualifying sessions and win both the races, and they have got themselves more than a 20-point advantage now. Really disappointing end to the race, that damage to Zimmerman and Fury. That BMW was running in 8th place. It ended up losing 3 places in the last minute or so of the race, dropping all the way down to 11th place, and those lost points might come back to haunt them, but tomorrow might well be another day. So the championship leaders continue to smile on. Really good effort from Wiewerhaus in that last, 10 minutes of the race. He really started to pile the pressure on a little bit to Bulatov. Got the gap down from 9.5 seconds at one stage down to just 5 seconds in the end. But it's all about this pair, the victors here for the first time in the ADAC GT Masters, taking to the top step. It'll be a very raucous podium, I reckon, Brian, when they get up there in a few minutes' time, and deservedly so, because they've both driven a superb race there, and great effort as well. At the end of that race, that battle really between Max Rice and Juliano Holzem was fantastic. For that final spot, if you're going to get a podium, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And 10 out of 10 to Juliano Holzem. And it was good, clean racing, apart from maybe one little kiss, we will say. But apart from that, it was good, clean racing. HRT
doing a sterling job with that Mustang. Salmon Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus, that's exactly what they needed after what was a fairly tough weekend last weekend at the Salzburg Ring. So they have got that really good points haul. That puts them in a really solid position. Just 3 races remaining. After somebody just dropped something, I think. As you were. Yes, they're just going to head up to the podium at the moment. I was looking out the window and I can see drivers running past. There's Emil Jödrum putting in a lap to try and head up the podium as well. But good entertaining racing from the ADAC GT Masters. I mean, that was action-packed from beginning to end, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, all the way through the field. We had Theresa charging through, didn't we, in the first stint in the Ferrari. Emil Jödrum and Jonas Karklis coming through very well in that middle part of the race, then getting the Pro-Am lead, then Emil just driving off in the second half of the race, really, to get their 4th win in Pro-Am. You had Alex Fack trying to come back from that drama, whatever it was, at the front of the Porsche that brought it in when Alex Schwarzer was driving it after the formation lap, and at least almost getting 2nd in class, then dropping back to 3rd in class in the end. Great battle, a train of cars battling over 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th positions as well, all the way through the race. And then, I mean, even really the first stint, we had that the 2 Mustangs close together in 3rd and 4th, close together as they came out of the pits. And then in the end, Wiebelhaus got through, but Max Rice then regained a podium position by getting past Holtzen with that great battle we described. I suppose the Holtzen twins will be the most disappointed of anybody out there, apart from maybe Fury and Zimmerman. They're going to be a bit gutted not to have got a podium from where they started that race.
Yeah, but they're going to have... there's Ralph Rice, Max's dad there, with the headphones on. Yes, I think the Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman are going to have a bit less weight on board for tomorrow's race. No success palace at all, as we see Max Rice and Nicholas Callas taking the 3rd step of the podium. Then will come Finn Wiebelhaus and Salmon Vega to the 2nd step of the podium, doing their championship no harm whatsoever. But it's going to be a first ever visit to the top step of the podium. We saw Nico Handke and Dennis Bulatov in GT4 Germany a couple of years ago. We saw Dennis Bulatov and Mike David Ortman in GT Masters last year. It wasn't going to be long before it came. Now it's finally happened at the Red Bull Ring, to the top step of the podium for Nico Handke and Dennis Bulatov. And Motorsport PHX, well, they deserve a medal anyway, because they've had to completely rebuild / replace that car after last week's excursion into the barriers, and they get a trophy for the team. So the national anthem done. Motorsport, who are almost neighbours to HRT. I think they're within a few feet of each other, the 2 factories opposite the Nürburgring. Herman Tomczyk, the ADAC Honorary Sports President, has done so much for the ADAC GT Masters over the years. Great to see him presenting 2nd place trophies. Guido Kuschera, Managing Director of DECRA. And the 3rd place trophies, Eric Wischeit from Pirelli, Germany, presenting the trophies to 3rd place. And then Thomas Uberall, General Manager of the Red Bull Ring. Always a real treat to come here to the Red Bull Ring. Always great racing. And hopefully we'll be back here again next year for more of the same. So we just pose for photographs for a few minutes. The mighty ADAC. We'll see you tomorrow for the next race of the weekend. He's given a squeeze. Look at this, side by side. Pulling out right in front. And really good close racing. Wonderful stuff.